We saw that the week started off really well. We had a 4-day rally and then the bourse dipped on Thursday. And today we're seeing it back up. What's going on the bourse?
It's not exactly back up. As at about 10 minutes ago when all traders settled, it actually closed slightly down. It closed down about 0.38%, essentially flat. What we've seen is that profit takers are firmly in hold. Even at that, fundamental investors are still pouring capital into the market. Of all stocks traded today, 40 stocks lost, 40 stocks gained, while 69 traded flat. And volumes also dipped significantly on over yesterday's trading. It dipped about 20 to 21%, while on last week's one was essentially a dip of about 3%. So what we think is happening is essentially profit takers are back in to scrape up the margins they can make on these shares. At the same time, the stock market may not have been immune to the recent political turbulence, which we believe, by the way, is going to pass as the ruling elites have decided to work together to settle the impasse. I'm with you, Fenly.
Well, looking back at some of the stocks that were showing gains were Shaka Cement beginning of this week, but on yesterday we're seeing that it's showing losses. Is there still value in that stock?
I think there is still value, but right now it's not a fundamental play. It's more of a growth play right now. So if you are a believer that the expansion plans and the productivity gains that Shaka has seen in 2009 will continue into the March of 2010 and foreseeable future, then yes, it's a play. Do we believe Ashaka still has potential for solid growth? Yes, we do. But of course, not all investors will share that view. So if you are one that shares the view that, okay, Ashaka is still going to live up to its growth potential, it's a fantastic play right now. If you are more on the conservative side and you rather buy into the core fundamentals of the company, you might have a different thinking with respect to that. Fenly?
Well, among the banking stocks yesterday, we're seeing Intercontinental, Afribank, Wema, and Zenith Bank all dropping. What's the movement on those stocks like today?
Today, a lot of those stocks traded flat. Zenith still traded down, which may not be unconnected to of course, the recent CBN guidelines with respect to CEO limitations. As we know, of all of the 3 banks principally affected, Zenith may have been the one that investors showed concern with respect to succession. Nothing to be worried about, of course, but just general investor sentiment. So we think that may have pulled it down. At the same time, we don't see a long term. We don't even see an immediate term run on that stock, because it's still got solid fundamentals, and indeed it has, in terms of quality of management, it runs right through the verticals.
All right, we're looking at next week. What's going to drive sentiments on the bourse?
We think principally next week a lot will ride on the politics of the moment and the issues of the day. That said, we also think what may come out of it also would be general profit taking and a return of fundamental investors. Essentially, we think next week will trade flat with a potential for some turbulence due to the issues of the day, shall we say. Fenly?
You've heard about that 14-day deadline that was given out there. Does that put investors at ease going forward?
What? Come again, Fenly?
The 14-day deadline that was put out to investors, do you think that would make them more and less jittery going forward?
I think so, but I mean...
Or the cabinet, 14-day deadline for the cabinet.
For the?
I beg your pardon, Akinwonuola. The 14-day deadline that was given to the cabinet, would that put investors at ease?
I don't think so. What we do know is that the ruling elite in Nigeria is still firmly in place. So it's not a question of a decapitation of government or a decapitation of the ruling elite. The ruling elite is still firmly in place, and what we are seeing is just a power interplay within the ruling elite. So we don't think it's going to impact significantly on it. However, what we may see is everyone is on the margin in terms of the news or whatever they can pick up from that, and that may rock the market. But the immediate term, the 14-day, no, we don't think so. Fenly?
And looking at the broader economy, Nigeria's economy is expected to grow by about 6.4%. Where exactly is growth coming from?
We think a lot of that growth may come from the non-oil sector. Nigeria, a lot of the growth is hinged and anchored firmly to the power reforms in terms of gaining productivity gains in the active population. A lot of that growth we think will come from the non-oil sector, and it may be powered by both agriculture, and if they do get the power sector right, we may see a resurgence of manufacturing. We for one wouldn't pin our hopes on the oil sector. We don't think oil price as well. That of course is given to any extreme factor that may come up, but we don't see a significant upside in oil price. So we think we have stability there. The American economy will likely, from all indications, not grow aggressively this year. The Chinese economy, though, has grown aggressively. We know that they may be on a tightening circle right now. So we don't see oil price escalating significantly further. So we think a lot of that growth will come from non-oil sector, principally agriculture. And if the power reforms that has been ongoing does happen in the first quarter of this year, we may see manufacturing sector drive that as well.